we're back with another episode of Inside Sports Fantasy Football. It's Gerald Glasser coming right back at you here from Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Of course, Pop Culture Cosmos, the Lakers Fast Break, and Game Source. We thank you so much for watching and listening. We truly appreciate it. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe today to us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And also as well, in honor of our guests, please go ahead, since you're subscribing to us on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to the awesome channel, which I just did, Girls Guide to Sports, because I've got the host of Girls Guide to Sports right here, Jordan Zucker. Jordan, great to have you here. Looking forward to a great conversation on fantasy football.
Hi, Gerald. Thanks for having me.
I know we've got my fault as far as it usually doesn't get this hard to go ahead and get you on the air. So I've been all my fault.
It wasn't that bad. Here I am.
All right. And I'm glad to have you here. Want to go ahead and also thank my good friend, Mr. Yami Swoot, as we call him on the Lakers Fast Break, Jamie Sweet, for getting us together to talk football today. But first question I want to go ahead and throw your way is, with fantasy football right now in the midst of its season, we're not yet to the playoffs. We're still talking trades for people out there. Still people looking at the waiver wires.
Game, but not everybody's game.
Yeah, exactly. So the waiver wires are still trying to be rummaged through as far as trying to provide hope for a lot of teams out there. But right now, in the past few days, we've either had major injuries or major trades. Two major running backs in a position that's already been depleted are moving from one team to another in James Robinson and also Christian McCaffrey. Tell me your
he moved.
Yeah, so tell me your thoughts on this as far as, is this going to be a win for fantasy football owners?
So it depends on who you have. But yeah, I think McCaffrey is gonna do well in San Francisco. I like him there.
You like the fit with the Garoppolo?
I do like the fit. I know that everybody was disappointed in his first week, but he didn't have that much time to gel with how everything goes down there. And he did, what did he have, like 44 yards on his first 4 carries? It's 11 yards carry. I think that's a good sign. I think he's going to be just fine.
There's always been questions, though, about his durability. The more he plays in the season, the bigger benefit. Although, again, as you and I have seen in the past, he's had some injuries that have derailed him for weeks at a time.
Right.
Do you think he'll stay healthy?
What?
Do you think he'll be durable this time around for San Francisco, at least as far as them trying to make a playoff run?
I don't know who I am to predict that, but yes, I think he'll be fine.
Okay. All right. Well, I just want, trying to ease some of the fans out there, because I know there was quite an uproar about him moving from a place where he was the central focus of that offense in Carolina, because they really don't have much else, and to a system where there are a couple other options, but still a team that is a better overall fit, I think, long-term for him. When it comes to James Robinson, though, moving from the Jaguars, your thoughts on this, because that just happened over the weekend, and he gets traded to the Jets, an intriguing team once thought of as an afterthought, thought that it was going to be another bad year for the Jets. The Jets are looking okay, and with James Robinson,
we thought they were going to be, right?
Yeah, and James Robinson, it could only get better.
Right. I mean, Breece Hall did a pretty good job, but now he's injured. So I don't know who anybody can pick up because of that. It depends on how deep your league is. We have nobody to pick up in some of my 12-team leagues, especially if you have an extra flex position. But I think this is most exciting for the Etienne owners.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Who he kind of goes back to his original draft position. Like, he was originally, I kind of compared him to an Akers, where everybody was so excited about this talented rookie, and he took a back seat to I guess it was Malcolm Brown at first, and then Darrell Henderson, and Etienne is gonna be able to shine, as everybody had drafted him in the second round, hoped he would.
Well, with Cam Akers, you see what happens there, as far as that's not been a happy ending for him, staying with the Rams, and how it's working out as far as him. He should be the next one on the move.
Right.
Yeah. Should be the next one on the move, because he's asked to be traded. I know there's a couple other situations as well around the league where players want to be traded from the teams that they are now that could be productive elsewhere. Your thoughts so far, though, when it concerns this season, some things that you're seeing. I think the story in Seattle with Geno Smith becoming, right now for this season, a top flight quarterback, I think that's one of the major surprises of the season.
Oh, yeah. And the other major surprise in the other direction is Russell in Denver.
Yes. A tale of two trades right there. Actually, one trade, but tale of two cities in a trade. Yeah. So share me your thoughts on that. I mean, your thoughts on Geno Smith.
In one of my leagues.
Mm-hmm.
We had drafted, we were late on getting a quarterback. We picked up, then we got 2 in a row. We got Stafford, who's been disappointing.
Yes.
And so we picked up Geno.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been okay, but I think he could. I think he told everybody, he's like, don't count me out. Did you see his interviews in the beginning of the year? Yeah. So we're not counting him out just yet.
No, we're not. And obviously there's still quite a bit of the season to go, but right now the early returns have Seattle winning this trade and winning it big time so far because of the fact that, in Denver, when you have the local television station apologizing for the team's performance, a couple weeks ago, that tells you much of what you need to know about what the season's been like for Denver so far.
Yeah. There are a lot of, as disappointing as Denver jokes circulating.
Yes, there are so many abound right now, especially on Twitter if you go by there. But, is there any other teams that stand out to you? The fact that Dallas is where they're at, even though that Dak Prescott has been injured most of the season, your thoughts right there on some viable candidates? Maybe you want to think about trade as far as maybe someone from the backfield there or on the wide receivers.
Like Tony Pollard? I don't know. I mean, Dak's back. So Zeke is always better when Dak is there. So let's just see how that goes. No, I don't know. I'm not a big magic ball person. I'm more of an individual. Show me your roster, and I'll tell you who to start.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, when it comes to inside sports fantasy football here, absolutely, there's a lot of individuals out there. They're always talking. What lineup should I start? What lineup should I go with? Should I do this trade? Should I go ahead and pick up this individual off the waiver wire? I know. Pardon?
Do you do a lot of trading?
I do some trades. I know a lot of our fans that follow us, we do get trade offers as far as them suggesting or asking, should I take this trade? Should I take that trade?
Yeah. In my leagues, we do way more trading in baseball than we do in football. Not a lot of trading in football.
I think that's par for the course for a lot of leagues. I agree with you on that. Although, let me ask you this. When it comes to a trade that people are getting right now these days, one of the things I'm seeing is people contemplating 1 or 2 players for, let's say, 3 or 4 players. Right now, with the number of injuries that are happening at an alarming rate in the league so far this season, I would probably say if you've got a deal on the plate that gets you 4 quality players or 3 quality players back, even though that might cost you a little bit on the top end, I think it's something that you should strongly consider because there's a lot of trades going around like that.
I would take the 2 better players. So we would have a deal. I would take your 2 better players and give you 4 of mine.
Now tell me why that is as far as the top end players, because I'm just concerned myself as far as having that kind of depth because of all the injuries that are out there.
I mean, I don't think there's a way to plan for an injury. So you can't plan that your best player is going to get injured. How do you, I mean, that's not what you're banking on. Mm-hmm. You're banking on your best player performing his best. That's why you drafted him in the first place.
Well, I think, and that I can't say I disagree with you on that assessment, but for me, it's just concerning because I'm seeing just a high rate overall in the league, and you're just worried about what kind of depth you have, and especially with the bye weeks coming up, which is making it a lot tougher for these teams to go ahead and negotiate or plan out their rosters and whatnot. Have you found yourself with the bye rates with the bye weeks that are now here, and also as well what's coming up with the injuries, have you found yourself some tough times in some of your leagues as far as trying to create good quality starting lineups?
Sometimes, but when I draft, I don't pay attention that much to bye weeks because I'd rather have the best team possible and then take one. Like week 7 was a rough week in one of my leagues, and I'm like, okay,
Agreed.
so we get one loss that week, or we just have an easy matchup and we're fine. Or you get lucky on the waiver wire. So I just try to get the strongest team possible through the season and deal with my problematic weeks when they face me. And I did lose in week 7 in that league. But
so what players, and same for me here, I gambled. I had a lot of players that were off and bye week on week 7. Like you, I picked just for players and what they were going to go ahead and do for me throughout the entire season, as opposed to just what that 1 week.
right.
I wasn't covered as well as I liked. And of course I paid the price for it. But as someone who is,
you didn't pay the price for the season, you paid the price for the week.
Yeah. And as someone who was leading the league, I could afford to go ahead and do just that. But when it comes to your lineups that you're throwing out there, who are some of the best performers that you're seeing right now? Josh Allen has been great. He's
got
been
him
great
early
for me.
in my original league.
Absolutely. Are you concerned though that he's been fumbling the ball a lot? I think at least 2, if not 3 fumbles so far this season that he's lost.
No, I'm not concerned about him one bit. I love him.
Okay. Fair enough. To me, that speaks of, he's maybe getting sacked a little bit more. I know he's running a lot. I know that's something that is both a good and bad thing. When a quarterback runs a lot, obviously it's a lot for points, but also means that their offensive line could be suspect, and maybe he's under a lot of pressure. So that's kind of
he'll learn from his mistakes and he'll figure it out and he'll fix it.
Hopefully. I'm hoping, now that they've had a week off, I'm hoping that that's the case. When it comes to some of the other quarterbacks, though, in the league that are suffering through some disappointing times, you talked about Matthew Stafford,
Rodgers, Stafford,
even Kyler Murray just has not been
okay. He's been medium.
Yeah, compared to what he was last year, it's been a little bit of a step down. But talk to me about Tom Brady and obviously Aaron Rodgers. These two were definitively 2 of the top producing quarterbacks year in, year out. Do you think it's time for both of them as far as their careers are concerned for fantasy football owners?
I mean, I'm in no position to judge someone on their age. I'm just saying.
Okay. Fair enough.
But I think that I think there's younger blood out there to target.
Okay. I think that right now there is a concern, especially if you're in the camp of Tom Brady and you're using him still continuously as a starter. I think there's some real questions on how he's able to go ahead and produce going forward. I'm not sure if it's fully him because he's been throwing some good passes. These receivers that he got they didn't look good for a hot minute. Yeah. And with Rodgers, that's an age-old issue. He's just never had a fully complete offense around him as far as options. It's usually been Devontae Adams, or maybe he has a good running back behind him or something. It's just not been a full, complete roster. The organization has never fully supplied him with options, I think, that can really help him get to where he needs to go. And it's just this season where he's maybe stepping back a little bit. He needs all the options that he can get to in order for him to produce.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I think he still has some pretty good, yeah. How do you pronounce it Dubes or Dobbs or Dubs?
I go through Dobbs. I go for Dobbs.
Dobbs?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a correct answer. How does he say it? Do we know?
Yeah. No, I don't know offhand. I haven't listened in on too many of his interviews. Maybe I should, and maybe I probably will in the future.
That's why I won't complain about I watch Red Zone every weekend, every Sunday, and you don't get the introductions where they say their name and their college, and then that's how you learn how to pronounce it because you hear them saying it. We don't get that on Red Zone. So,
wow. But I
missed out on that one. But anyway, yeah, he has. Yes, Green Bay is not as sharp as they once were.
No, and that's a shame because Rodgers, again, he's performed at such a high level for so many years. He's actually won me a couple titles in the past in fantasy football. So sad to see him go. He's not my quarterback this year, but it's sad to see where his career is going. But he's had
Did
a
I
great
hear
career
he
nonetheless.
was thinking of going to New Orleans?
There's a possibility. I mean, you're hearing the rumors. You're hearing the rumors of something. He's getting frustrated. It's obvious when he's going to the press about how he doesn't have a full offense around him. He's getting very frustrated. So anything is possible at this point.
Right. Who's your team? Do you have a team?
Well, I'm in the Las Vegas area. People are saying the Raiders, but the Raiders have broken the hearts of many on many occasions by leaving town. So I'm not really detached. I've gone to see a few games already since they've been
How's
here.
that stadium?
Stadium is beautiful. It's really nice inside.
I pass it when I'm on the highway.
Yes, I see it all the time as well. I really like it from the inside. It's really nice. It's not. I don't know. It's not. If you go to, I hear so many good things about SoFi and the
Oh
one
my
up in
God.
Northern California. The one
Have
up
you
in Northern
been?
California. No, not yet.
They
I'm
did
going
a
to
really good
SoFi.
job
I'm going to SoFi later this week. I'm going right next to it. I'm actually going on the facility to go to something else at a concert right next to it. So I will get a chance to go to SoFi. I'm really hearing good things about it as far as state of the art, modern. The Allegiant Stadium does not go all the way there, but it does do a nice job of providing a nice environment. I will give it
Okay.
that. Yeah.
All right.
It doesn't go all the way. It doesn't
Right.
go all the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still nice nonetheless. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to the Raiders, they finally got themselves in a position where they won a home game. They're now 2-4. Do you
Yeah,
see them on the rebound? Do you see them with Derek Carr and Devontae Adams and starting rebound? I mean, they obviously got it's a great running game from Josh Jacobs, who's one of the premier running backs right now in fantasy
He was
football.
amazing. Yeah, he was amazing last week.
Do you think they continue this up trend, or do you still see them as a team that's not going to make it as far as?
It's hard for me to talk about the Raiders this way. They're not. I've had like terrible experience going to see games when the Raiders were always the visiting team. But my co-manager in my original league is a big Raiders fan. And so I had to give up that hatred because she is allowed to draft one Raider every year. I give her one. And so and then she always roots for them. And so I've had she rubbed off on me a little bit, put it that way.
Okay.
And we have Waller this year.
Oh, there you go.
Who has been injured, but hopefully he'll be back soon. And I do have Adams in another league.
But Waller, again, just sad to see what he did after such a productive season last season. Like you said, hopefully he'll come back, and he's going to get a lion's share of the of whatever Devontae Adams doesn't get. Yeah,
right.
As soon as he comes back. But before we, go ahead.
I think the Raiders. Yes, I don't like to say anything nice about the Raiders, but I think they're going to be pretty good.
You know what? Las Vegas has accepted them. I don't say that they've embraced them 100% like they have the Golden Knights, but they get decent crowds right now, and that's good for what's going on right there. And they love, people are enjoying the experience. But before we head out, I just wanted to go ask, before we get to plug once again your awesome YouTube channel, wanted to ask your final advice for individuals that are playing right now fantasy football. Do you have any advice for them in the weeks upcoming?
Don't give up, because people think that they need to be in first or second place throughout the year in order to win this whole thing. And that's not how it works. You could slide into that six seed, and then everything is a clean slate.
Oh, that's awesome. Great advice indeed. Once again, it's Jordan Zucker. You got to go ahead and check out what she's doing today at her awesome channel. Please go ahead and support it. You can do it. I know you can. Please, come on. Go ahead and support what she's doing today. Please, before we head out, actually, you go ahead. Why should people check out your awesome channel before we head on out?
Well, I don't just talk about statistics and who you should start. I talk about kind of the whole experience of being a sports fan. So I do stadium tours. I do cooking for sports. I add my little stamp on it.
Absolutely. So what are some of the best episodes that you've been able to present out there?
I did a whole baseball tour in the Midwest. where we profiled the team and the stadiums and the cities. It was kind of a cross between a travel show and a sports show and a food show. And that was a blast to put together. So that one I'd say would be my proudest series.
Oh, nice. Absolutely. Again, I've checked out a couple of the episodes already. That's awesome. Please go ahead and check out Girls Guide to Sports right there on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. She's all over the social media. So go ahead, Girls Guide to Sports, all over social media, any social media handle that's out there. Go ahead and follow her wherever you can. And I tell you what, it's a great experience if you do. You've just been tremendous on this show, and I cannot thank you enough for being part of it. Hoping you can come back on whenever possible.
Sure. Thanks, Gerald.
Great to have again once you on the show. You also know your baseball. So before you go, okay, you got to tell me your World Series.
I'm a Yankee fan. Baseball's over for me.
Oh, okay. So no thoughts on the World Series themselves? I know my friend Laker Tom on the Lakers Fast Break, he was a Yankees fan.
I'm rooting for the Phillies now. I went to college in Philly.
Okay, absolutely. So there you go, right there for you. But once again, check out what she's doing today on YouTube and everywhere else on social media at Girls Guide to Sports. That's Girls Guide to Sports right there. Also, I checked out your site, jordanzucker.com. Please go ahead and check out what she's doing there as well. Absolutely. It gives you a whole bio. It tells you what you're doing, what you're up to.
Cookbook.
Yeah, your cookbook. Everything you need to know about Jordan Zucker's right there at jordanzucker.com. And of course, Girls Guide to Sports as well. Jordan, thanks so much for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. I told you it wouldn't take too long, so I'm so glad.
You even get my dog on.
There you go. All right. Well, sounds good. Next time we will. Absolutely enjoyed my conversation with you. Truly appreciate it, and looking forward to our next conversation on fantasy football